The Orca has her, please hurry. It was supposed to be another perfect afternoon at SeaWorld, Orlando. Families filled the stands, cameras ready to capture the magic, but in less than 60 seconds, everything changed. The emergency radio crackles. With desperation as chaos erupts throughout the marine park, panic screams echo from Shamu Stadium as 4,000 horrified spectators witness something that will haunt them forever. In the crystal-clear waters below, a massive 6-ton orca has seized trainer Maris Ellington in its powerful jaws. Blood spreads across the surface, children scream in terror. Parents frantically cover young eyes as the unthinkable unfolds before them. This is the terrifying story of Maris Ellington's final moments, a tragedy that shook the marine entertainment industry to its core and changed everything we thought we knew about the bond between humans and killer whales. Welcome to Animal Uncaged, where we uncover the most shocking true stories from the animal kingdom. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video to help us bring more important stories to light. Maris Ellington wasn't just another marine mammal trainer. She was extraordinary. At 34 years old, Maris had dedicated her entire adult life to working with the ocean's most magnificent and dangerous predators. Born in Tampa, Florida, Maris grew up just minutes from the Gulf Coast, spending her childhood summers swimming with dolphins and dreaming of a career surrounded by marine life. Maris earned her marine biology degree from the University of Florida, with highest honors specializing in citation, behavior, and psychology. But what truly set Maris apart wasn't her academic achievements. It was her almost supernatural ability to connect with orcas. Colleagues often described watching Maris work as witnessing pure magic. She could calm an agitated 8,000-pound whale with just her voice, her presence, her energy. For 12 years, Maris had been SeaWorld Orlando's senior orca trainer, working her way up from an entry-level position to become the face of the park's most popular shows. She had trained with over 15 different orcas during her career, but none meant more to her than Kasaka, a 22-FT female captured from Iceland's waters in 1988. Maris believed deeply in the educational mission of marine parks. She saw herself not just as an entertainer, but as an ambassador for ocean conservation. To Maris, every show was an opportunity to inspire the next generation of marine biologists and environmental activists. Her passion was infectious, her dedication absolute. Little did anyone know that this unwavering commitment would ultimately lead to her tragic end. SeaWorld Orlando sprawls across 100 acres of meticulously designed marine entertainment, attracting over 4 million visitors annually. The crown jewel of the park is Shamu Stadium, a massive 5.8 million gal orca habitat that can hold 5,000 spectators. The main performance pool measures 170 feet long, 80 feet wide, and 36 feet deep. Enormous by human standards, but a confined space for creatures that naturally roam hundreds of miles across open ocean. The facility houses 6 orcas, but Kasaka stands out among them all. Captured as a 3-year-old calf off Iceland's coast, Kasaka has spent 24 years in captivity. She weighs approximately 5,500 pounds, measures 20 feet in length, and possesses a jaw strength capable of exerting 19,000 pounds per square inch of pressure. Her distinctive white eye patches and scarred dorsal fin make her instantly recognizable to regular visitors. Kasaka's behavioral history reveals a pattern of concerning incidents that management consistently downplayed. In 2006, she grabbed trainer Ken Peters by the foot and held him underwater for nearly a minute. During a routine training session, the incident was caught on video, but dismissed as play behavior. In 2009, she refused commands during 3 consecutive shows, floating motionless at the pool center while trainers struggled to regain her attention. SeaWorld's incident reports later revealed through Freedom of Information Act requests documented 17 separate aggressive episodes involving Kasaka between 2004 and 2012. These included tail slapping, jaw popping, and intentional splashing, directed at staff members. Despite these red flags, Kasaka remained in the active performance rotation, generating millions in revenue for the corporation. The park's safety protocols required trainers to maintain physical barriers during shows, but these rules were frequently bent to create more spectacular performances. The pressure to deliver increasingly dramatic entertainment often superseded caution, creating a dangerous environment where profit margins mattered more than trainer safety. The weeks leading up to February 17, 2012 were marked by subtle, but troubling changes in Kasaka's behavior that should have triggered immediate concern. Marine mammal behaviorists who later reviewed the evidence identified multiple warning signs that were either ignored or misinterpreted by SeaWorld management. Kasaka began exhibiting what experts call displacement behaviors, repetitive actions that indicate stress and frustration. She spent hours swimming in tight circles, a behavior never observed in wild orcas. Her appetite decreased significantly as she began regurgitating partially digested fish during feeding sessions. Most concerning of all, Kasaka started displaying aggressive posturing toward Maris specifically, something that hadn't occurred in their 8-year working relationship. During rehearsals in early February, Kasaka twice failed to respond to Maris's recall signals, forcing backup trainers to intervene with food rewards. Video footage from these sessions shows Kasaka maintaining prolonged eye contact with Maris, a dominance display that experienced trainers recognize as a warning. Yet, these incidents were logged merely as training challenges rather than behavioral red flags. Dr. Jeffrey Venter, a former SeaWorld trainer turned whistleblower, later testified that he had expressed concerns about Kasaka's deteriorating mental state to park management. The signs were all there, Dr. Venter stated. Kasaka was exhibiting classic symptoms of psychological distress. Any competent marine mammal professional should have recognized the danger. 3 days before the attack, maintenance workers reported finding deep gouges in the concrete walls of Kasaka's holding tank, evidence that she had been repeatedly ramming the barriers with her rostrum. When Maris was informed of this discovery, she reportedly dismissed it as normal territorial behavior, confident in her ability to manage any situation that might arise. What happened next would prove that even the most experienced trainer can fatally underestimate the power and unpredictability of an apex predator. Pushed beyond its psychological limits, February 17, 2012, to 30 p.m., the afternoon sun blazes down on Shamu Stadium, as 4,200 excited spectators fill the stands for the 3-meter show titled Believe. Families clutch cameras and cotton candy. Children press against the splash zone barriers and the atmosphere buzzes with anticipation. None of them could imagine that they're about to witness one of the most horrific incidents in marine park history. At 2:45 p.m., Maris Ellington enters the back-of-house area to begin her pre-show preparations. She's performed this routine thousands of times, checking equipment, reviewing show notes, and conducting a final safety briefing with her team. Today's show features the signature rocket hop maneuver where Kasaka will propel Maris 15 feet into the air using her powerful rostrum. To 58 p.m., Maris steps onto the stage platform, her wetsuit gleaming black under the stadium lights. She waves to the crowd, her smile radiant as always. The music swells and 4,200 people cheer as Kasaka glides into the performance pool. Everything appears normal, routine, safe. 3:03 p.m., the show begins flawlessly. Kasaka responds to Maris's signals, performing barrel rolls and high-speed passes that delight the audience. But seasoned trainers watching from the sidelines notice something unsettling. Kasaka's movements are more erratic than usual, her breathing slightly labored. 3:17 p.m., the moment arrives for the rocket hop finale. Maris positions herself at the pool's edge as Kasaka submerges, preparing to surge upward and launch her trainer skyward. The crowd holds its breath in anticipation. 3:18 p.m., without warning, everything goes wrong. Instead of positioning herself beneath Maris for the lift, Kasaka charges directly at her trainer's midsection. The impact sends Maris flying backward into the water with bone-crushing force. The audience gasps, many thinking it's part of the show, but this isn't choreographed. Kasaka immediately grabs Maris around the waist with her massive jaws and begins what marine biologists call a killing shake, the violent thrashing motion orcas use to stun prey. Maris's screams echo across the stadium as she's dragged beneath the surface. 3:19 p.m. emergency alarms blare throughout the facility. Trainers rush to deploy safety equipment, air horns, nets, anything to distract Kasaka and force her to release Mars. But the 5,500-pound orca ignores every intervention, maintaining her deadly grip as she dives toward the pool's deepest point. Spectators begin screaming and fleeing the stands. Parents shield their children's eyes as the water turns crimson. Security guards frantically usher people toward the exits, while emergency responders race toward the scene. 3:20 p.m. After 3 agonizing minutes underwater, Kasaka finally surfaces with Maris still clamped in her jaws. The trainer is unconscious, her body limp and bloodied. For a brief moment, it seems the nightmare might end. Then Kasaka dives again, taking Maris back into the depths. 3:25 p.m., the SeaWorld medical team arrives at the poolside, but they cannot enter the water while Kasaka remains aggressive. They watch helplessly as the Orca continues her assault, occasionally surfacing just long enough to give false hope before submerging again. 3:28 p.m., in a final devastating display of power, Kasaka breaches the surface one last time. Maris' motionless form still held in her jaws. She releases the trainer's body, which floats face down in the bloodied water. Maris Ellington, beloved trainer and marine conservation advocate, is gone. At 3:31 p.m., emergency divers finally retrieve Maris Ellington's body from the Orca pool. Paramedics immediately begin CPR, working frantically for 18 minutes before emergency room physicians at Orlando Regional Medical Center officially pronounce her dead. At 4:15 p.m., the cause of death is listed as drowning and massive trauma, consistent with a large citation attack. SeaWorld Orlando immediately cancels all remaining shows and closes Shamu Stadium indefinitely. Within hours, the Orange County Sheriff's Office launches a comprehensive investigation, interviewing witnesses, reviewing security footage, and examining safety protocols. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, announces their own inquiry into potential workplace safety violations. By evening, news of Maris's death had spread globally. Cable news networks interrupt regular programming with breaking reports. Social media explodes with hashtags like Rip Maris and Orca captivity. Animal rights organizations, which had been quietly criticizing marine parks for years, suddenly find themselves with a platform and a tragic example to support their cause. SeaWorld's initial response is swift but tone-deaf. A company spokesperson reads a prepared statement. "We are heartbroken about the tragic loss of Maris, one of our most valued team members. This appears to be an isolated incident involving an animal displaying normal but unpredictable wild behavior." The statement makes no mention of Kasaka's previous aggressive episodes or the systemic issues that led to this preventable tragedy. The corporation's stock price plummets 30% in after-hours trading, as investors realize the potential legal and public relations nightmare ahead. Meanwhile, Kasaka is moved to an isolation tank where she will spend the remainder of her captive life, never again performing for crowds or interacting with trainers in the water. The families of other SeaWorld trainers watch the news coverage with growing horror, many of them recognizing their own vulnerabilities in Maris' story. Several veteran trainers quietly submit resignation letters over the following weeks. No longer willing to risk their lives for corporate entertainment profits. Dr. Naomi Rose, a marine mammal scientist for the Animal Welfare Institute, provides crucial context for understanding why this tragedy occurred. Orcas are apex predators with complex psychological needs that simply cannot be met in captivity. Dr. Rose explains, "When you confine a creature designed to travel 100 meters per day to a concrete tank, psychological breakdown is inevitable." The scientific evidence supports Dr. Rose's assessment. Wild orcas live in stable family pods with intricate social structures, communicate through sophisticated vocal dialects, and hunt cooperatively across vast ocean territories. In captivity, these intelligent animals are reduced to performing repetitive tricks for food rewards, an existence that Dr. Rose describes as psychologically devastating. Kasaka's behavioral deterioration follows patterns documented in other captive orcas worldwide. Dr. Jeffrey Ventura, who worked as a SeaWorld trainer for 6 years before becoming a vocal critic of the industry, identifies several risk factors that should have triggered Kasaka's immediate removal from performances. Repetitive behaviors, loss of appetite, and aggressive displays toward familiar trainers are classic indicators of severe psychological distress. Dr. Ventura states, SeaWorld management was either ignorant of these warning signs or chose to ignore them because Kasaka was too valuable as a performer. Marine biologist Dr. Ingrid Visser, who has studied wild orcas for over 2 decades, points to the fundamental impossibility of safely managing these animals in captive settings. People need to understand that orcas are not domesticated animals. Dr. Visser emphasizes they retain all their natural instincts and capabilities, including the ability to kill. No amount of training can override millions of years of evolution. The incident also reveals serious gaps in SeaWorld safety protocols. Former trainers report that economic pressure often led to the relaxation of safety measures in favor of more spectacular shows. The rocket hop maneuver that killed Maris required trainers to be in direct physical contact with orcas, a practice that marine mammal experts now consider inherently dangerous. These expert analyses paint a clear picture. Maris Ellington's death was not an unfortunate accident, but the predictable result of a system that prioritizes profit over both human and animal welfare. In the days following her death, tributes to Maris Ellington poured in from around the world. Colleagues remember her infectious enthusiasm, her dedication to marine conservation, and her genuine love for the animals in her care, a memorial service. As SeaWorld Orlando draws over 800 attendees, including trainers from marine parks across the globe, who gathered to honor their fallen colleague. Maris's family establishes the Maris Ellington Foundation for Marine Conservation, dedicated to protecting wild orcas and their ocean habitats. The foundation's mission statement reads, "Maris believed in the power of education to inspire conservation. We honor her memory by advocating for the creatures she loved in their natural environment." Her tragedy catalyzes significant changes within the marine entertainment industry. OSHA ultimately fined SeaWorld $75,000 for safety violations and bans trainers from entering the water with orcas during performances. Several other marine parks voluntarily implement similar restrictions, effectively ending the era of in-water orca shows. More importantly, Maris' death energizes the movement to end orca captivity entirely. The documentary Blackfish, released the following year, prominently features her story and helps shift public opinion against marine mammal captivity. Corporate sponsors begin distancing themselves from SeaWorld, and attendance at the parks drops significantly as consumers become more aware of the ethical issues surrounding orca entertainment. By 2016, facing mounting pressure and declining profits, SeaWorld announced the end of their orca breeding program and committed to phasing out theatrical orca shows. While this decision comes too late to save Maris, her tragic death becomes a catalyst for protecting both future trainers and the majestic creatures they work with. Maris Ellington's colleagues continue to speak her name with reverence, remembering not just how she died, but how she lived with passion, dedication, and an unwavering belief in the beauty and intelligence of marine life. The story of Maris Ellington serves as a sobering reminder that some boundaries should never be crossed. Her death illuminated the dark reality behind the spectacle of marine entertainment, forcing society to confront uncomfortable questions about our relationship with wild animals. While we cannot bring Maris back, we can honor her memory by ensuring that no trainer ever again pays the ultimate price for human entertainment. Maris believed in the power of education to create change, and her story continues to educate people about the complex needs of marine mammals. Every time someone chooses to observe whales in their natural habitat rather than in captivity, every time a family decides to support ocean conservation instead of marine entertainment, Maris' legacy lives on. Here at Animal Uncaged, we're committed to telling these important stories that reveal the complex relationships between humans and animals. If this documentary moved you, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Give this video a thumbs up if you believe Maris' story deserves to be remembered, and share it with others who need to understand the real cost of captive animal entertainment. What are your thoughts on marine mammal captivity after learning about Maris Ellington's story? Leave a comment below and join the conversation about how we can better protect both animals and the people who work with them. Thank you for watching Animal Uncaged, and remember, every story we tell has the power to create positive change in the world. Together, we can raise awareness and advocate for the ethical treatment of all living beings, ensuring a future where animals thrive in their natural habitats rather than in confinement.